members of the church. It's not only just that the members of the church, but also that the SSA director head was also a member of the church.
But he said the SSA director wasn't aware that he was working with the SSA.
No, but what I'm saying, the optics of it, the SSA director is an attendee to the church, and 5 members of the church additional to the director. I mean,
what I will say is I've never seen a feed end so abruptly.
I was actually seeing people walking behind him outside the
car. Yeah, he's outside in a car, but I've never seen a feed end so abruptly. Maybe he was taken offline.
Calm down, your conspiratorial theory.
No, I have two concerns. I have two concerns. One of the main concerns I have is that someone who claims to be a professional intelligence person trained is talking stuff that could be anathema to national security interests because he says his cover was blown. One.
Well, it has happened internationally, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have whistleblowers and stuff like that.
Yes.
I think that to me is anathema to a professional person who understands the implications of that one. But he said he doesn't seem to care. He's lodged 3 letters with his attorneys, and if anything happens to him, the information is going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And 2,
I don't know if Steve is trying to get back in via landline.
But he has to say
right now.
Yeah. And 2, that he doesn't find it strange that 6 people in the same church are employed by the country's highest intelligence gathering agency. That's not a big deal. That doesn't raise a red flag.
And the Office of the Prime Minister and the National Security Council are the ones who basically broke the story.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yes.
The Office of the Prime Minister, via issuing that release that that the head of the SSA was being sent on administrative leave and that it was a threat to national security.
National security.
Those words were used.
Yeah, those are the words that were used.
All right, gentlemen, I do have Pastor back on the line via telephone.
All right.
Pastor, good morning.
Welcome back, Pastor Brown.
Right.
And they blocked my app. Nothing with my app are now working. I checked, no app is working.
So you said that they've blocked you from using your WhatsApp devices?
Yes, sir.
Can they do that? Now, we have the technology to do that.
To do that with yours as well. Let me tell you something. Let them touch one of the righteous today. I will give you all the other links.
Pastor Brown, who is they? Who is they? Who is they that you think blocked your apps? Who is they?
Yeah,
Pastor Brown?
Yes, sir.
Who is they? You say they blocked my app. Who is they?
Well, sir, national security isn't just what you think it is in one area. And all I'm saying is, if I have to go public because they choose to approve the righteous, be it Hindu, Muslim, or who, this man is going to talk. And then you'll realize it isn't just about the agency you all know. It's another one in the system that has more power than the one that the director was removed from. And I will...
Pastor, identify for us who are some of these other righteous people.
Identify who these righteous people? You mean?
Yes, so you don't have to name all. You don't have to name all. But who are some of these other righteous people?
Who have integrity, and they do not flinch when it comes to presenting the truth and the realities as to what is happening with the crime situation in the country. And when the director has to have a brief and the brief is presented, those types of information are not found in the briefing to the director. They do not reach the commissioner of police, and that's how we cannot fight crime the way we could fight crime in the country. Those righteous people who are trying their best and sacrificing their lives to do what is right so this country has something called peace, and it has something called a status that the whole world could know about and enjoy. we are being flagged as being a kind of a nation that doesn't know how to fight crime.
So who are some of these other righteous people? I'm assuming Major Best is a righteous person.
Yes, sir. But there are others.
Who else are the righteous people in national security?
I cannot call the names now, but let them touch one of them today. You will hear their name.
How can someone posted a good question. How can the person who is in charge of the SSA not have knowledge of the people who are employed and working as intelligence gathering agents in the SSA?
No, I didn't say that he doesn't have knowledge of them. I'm saying that
I'm talking about.
Okay, you're asking me how he doesn't have knowledge about me?
Yeah.
Since this whole fracas began with him being removed, I've never spoken to him about anything so far.
No, I'm talking you. I asked you earlier on if when he visited the church, if you knew that you were an intelligence gathering agent with the SSA, and you said no, he didn't. He wasn't aware of that.
Because it was. You see, like I said before, and the reporter who interviewed me has all the facts correctly. So there are other reporters who, like Mark and others, who are trying all kinds of stuff to present a narrative for the public to hear. They are really. I had diarrhea for 2 days that I was supposed to interact with Mr. Mark. And the point is, I took that as a sign that this diarrhea was a sign that don't interact with this man. Okay? And after I decided that my diarrhea stopped, I took that as a sign from God that this man is diarrhea. I'm telling you plain talk.
Pastor Brown, two-part question. One,
Steve has had that issue too, you know.
You said that there is information that, do you think what you're divulging is going to destabilize national security in the country, or is a threat to national security? You said you don't care because you are 70 years old, but that's about you. What about the rest of the country? Part one. And two, the information that you have contained in the letters.
So this is going to strengthen the country. For the country to rise up and say, if we really want to stop crime and to solve things and have things going the right way. It isn't going to mash up anything. It's going to join this nation.
All right. And the second part of the question. The second part of the question is, you said there's information that you've documented and is in the hands of 3 attorneys that if anything happens to you, is going to be released to the public. I'm paraphrasing here.
Correct.
If that information is so potent, why has it not been reposed with the authorities before?
So, like I said earlier on, I'm sure you're going to tell it, but firstly asking it again so that the listeners will hear it again. That boss of mine who has been named and suspended, and one other head are the only ones who know as much as I do. Okay? And they have documents to prove it. Some people got fired already who were in these positions of deception and were rats. And the rest of the rats ran to a certain minister, and the minister got involved because he has a lot to cover as well.
Who is this minister?
No, you're making a very, don't name any minister because you are going to put us in trouble, Wendell.
You must know what I will not say and what I will say.
Is it a church minister?
I am a church bishop. The Association of Independent Ministers, I'm a part of that grouping. We oversee 37 churches, sir. I'm a bona fide bishop.
So are you referring to somebody in the church that they ran to?
No, I'm just saying minister outside of the church is minister in the government.
Oh, so it's a government minister you're referring to?
Yes, sir. Okay. I think you really wanted to say it clearly. It's very wise.
Okay.
Now you're making some very serious allegations here.
Sir, I may die today. My brother was murdered because of what he was doing that I was doing similarly. He was a police informant and he was shot dead, 9 bullets. Okay? He never knew I was a police officer. My mother died the same year. That's 2022 I'm talking about. She never knew I was a police officer involved in anything. None of my siblings. I'm from 8 children. And Saturday, my eldest brother discovered who I was. everything was done in the yard, and all the public was able to hear what he was saying, and he, for the first time, knew what I was. My cover is blown. Yet, because of my gigs, I could go somewhere else and people will never know that the person that they know by another name is the pastor.
What other name you went by?
Come on. Nice one. Nice one. All right.
Pastor Brown, what do you want to come out of all of this in the end? If you say you have the interest of Trinidad and Tobago at hand, what is your outcome? You hope for your outcome here?
That this nation believes that they are righteous people from all religions, all denominations, who are willing to lay down their life to do the right thing. And that we must uphold what is right and the people who stand for true righteousness. That's my objective, sir.
You won't get any argument with that on this Power Breakfast show. Even though we may not all be religious, we are all righteous people, in my opinion. We all try to do what is right. So you won't get any argument against that on this Power Breakfast show.
Pastor Brown, what you seem to be suggesting is that this entire imbroglio is part of a cover-up of some kind?
It is the biggest cover-up I've ever witnessed since I was born. The only place where things like this happen is in Russia.
What would the state of Trinidad and Tobago have to gain by covering up this? Who benefits?
Well, what they will gain is a great loss if this remains covered up. What will be to the advantage of this nation is if light begins to shine again. If the light goes out, that's it.
Now you're talking in parables, and what you're suggesting is there seems to be a cover-up of some. I know there's some things you can't say because even we will get into trouble, and I don't want us to get into trouble because you make allegations that we can't independently substantiate, right? But what you're suggesting is that someone there's an initiation of some sort of activity to cover up what seems to be wrongdoing that you're alleging. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. That's correct.
Is it on the criminal side and allowing criminals to continue? Is that what you're suggesting?
It's allowing criminals to continue who help certain people to remain in politics because of the narrative concerning the way they are supported. That's
so
a lot to
say. Political now.
But, well, sir, I'm not a politician. I'll never be a politician. I'll never, N-E-V-E-R, capital letters, and not just capital letters, put it in a bold font that is huge. Never.
Have you ever supported any political party?
Of course. Ask which one and who. I'll tell you. The UNC.
You've supported the UNC?
Of course. But not the UNC per se. I supported a friend who was Mr. Reverend Roger Samuel. And the point is this. He, as a righteous person, I believe, was a good man who was in my constituency to vote for. And that's the only person I ever supported. Otherwise, I don't.
So you voted for the UNC? You voted for the UNC?
Well, what I explain now is I don't vote party. I voted for a friend who I believe was righteous. And he was supporting righteousness. And he wanted to do something for the COP. I shouldn't have even said UNC because he's...
he was COP. He was COP.
So I was wrong in saying UNC. I'm sorry, guys. It's the COP.
Pastor Brown, have you been invited for any interview with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service since the raid on your compound or compounds?
No, sir. Not at all.
So the police have not, and when they raided the compound, did they interrogate you in any way?
They interrogated me in extreme ways. And the most important thing that they wanted to do was to get all of my IDs and paraphernalia attached to national security, which was not just the police service. The only thing that they didn't get was my national security badge, which I couldn't find at the time. But the point is this, they took everything else pertaining to me being part of that national security.
So do you still consider yourself, given that development, to be part of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service as an SRP?
Well, no one told me I'm fired. No one called me to say I'm suspended. All right? The same way I was contacted on this phone and I answered a phone number I didn't know. All right? They could have called me and I would have answered, and the point is simple. I have 7 phones. So that's my work. I have phones for different purposes. So anybody who gets this number, they must have had somebody high up to have given them this number.
So to your knowledge, you're still employed by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service officially. Are you still working for the SSA?
So I still do my job in the context of what I am tasked to do, in the context of my remit, and I do that on a daily basis, sir.
So you continue your intelligence gathering on behalf of the SSA even after your cover has been blown?
You heard me correctly. I was doing this for free before I was given a stipend and before I was made to come in. Whenever I was made to come into SSA to be recognized as somebody, as an intelligence officer and a police officer.
How do you get that stipend, Pastor Brown? How do you get it? Do you get it paid through your account? How do you collect that stipend?
Initially, it was a check, and presently, it goes straight into my account.
Okay, so there's evidence that you are paid. There's evidence that you are paid from National Security through an account.
There's evidence that I'm paying my taxes. There's evidence that from National Security, my salary is paid into a bank account, yes.
I have one final question. One final question, and I don't want you to call any names. Have you, in the execution of your duties, were you called upon to gather intelligence on any politician, government, opposition, or otherwise?
No, I wouldn't lie to you, sir. Never, from any side, any corner, was I ever asked to do that. Strictly as to what is happening with national security to determine why we can't solve the crimes. Police work, sir. It's police work.
Pastor Brown, my final question. In the execution of this warrant, were you detained at any point in time by the police?
No, sir. Only at the inception when I was held, pulled to the back of my vehicle, made a spread eagle, held my arms, frisked me down, then frisked me again. That is the only time I was actually apprehended, sir. And for a pastor to have all these amount of police being around him, why they can't find a criminal? It's better they send him to go and plant cassava, man. You know, or help to plant dashing somewhere. There's so much police we have free to look for a pastor and get nothing but his uniform. Nah, man. People of Trinidad, don't be fooled. They tell you plainly, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but they cannot fool all of the people all of the time. Let them touch one of those righteous people, be they Muslim, Hindu, or what, who are fighting to cause this nation to have some kind of a stability. And they do that today. That's it. I open my mouth. Let them sue me. Let them jail me. I don't have much time to live again. I'm almost 70. I was extended a grace position to function as a police officer for a couple of years. And that extension ceases in November 28th this year. And I will do it longer if they want me to do it until I drop. My wife wouldn't like what she would hear me saying with these words, but that is the truth. That is me for righteousness. That is me for Jesus, and that is me for the country.
Pastor, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Pastor,
and your contribution.
No problem, sir. I hope my app works after you finish talking.
Thank you, Pastor. Right. Your church will certainly get a very
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Right,
bye-bye.
Did we get from the pastor where his church is located?
It's in the papers.
It's in the papers. Okay. I may have to visit that church.
Have a fantastic day, people, and for
everybody seems stunned.
For all of the atheists out there, yes, we know you can be righteous too, and sometimes more righteous than the religious.
Notice how I couched my comment when I said that, right? We may not all be religious, but we all stand for what's right.
I don't know that we all anywhere stand for what is right. I don't know that all of us stand for what is right anywhere.
On the Power Breakfast Show?
On the Power Breakfast Show, you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what I said. On the Power Breakfast Show.
I thought you were talking about generally.
No. True.
We'll see where this all. I know better than that. It's very curious, and it's a very curious story and very curious sequence of events, and he says that the Prime Minister and the National Security Council got it wrong. So this
beauty culture. I'm also speechless.
Yeah, it is an amazing.
We have to absorb this. We have to rewind it in our brains again.
I'm going to be watching over this program because I wasn't planning to be part of this morning. I actually got up late, and then I saw a message from Richard. Are you joining to speak with the pastor? I said, what? What pastor? Because all of yesterday I was calling for it. I didn't know you all were going to have it. I would have been running that studio on Paul and Steve neck if all you had interviewed this pastor and I didn't know.
Well, we did. We thought you were listening. We did tell you, Wendell, please join us. We did say that.
No, I wasn't listening at all. I wasn't listening at all this morning. So,
was that a threat?
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. I would not have missed this for the world. This is going to be the most viewed program we've ever had. Trust me.
Man said there are rats in the SSC.
Yeah, that's what he said. Right off the start, he said that.
Yeah.
We have a great day. Be safe.
I don't know if you all want to stick around because there are so many calls coming in. I don't know if you guys want to take a 15 minutes of calls. We make it faster.
No, I'm gone. Bye.
I actually could hold on because my son decided he's going to take himself to school this morning. So I don't have to hustle.
Have a great day. Be safe.
All right, gentlemen. Have a good one. We'll chat with you bright and early tomorrow morning. Let's get into our news. Paul, you have the news. Let's get into it.